5 minutes, I'm the lucky guy who is going to get to sit across and ask Nadia some questions. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you, can you put your phones away off the table? If you can turn them off, great. In fact, I'm not asking you, I'm begging you, please. We want you to be kind of here in this session for the next 40 minutes. And the best way for you to do that is to get them off the tables. You, sir, can you move your phone off the table, please? Anyone else want me to name and shame them? Otherwise, we're ready to go. Now, it is it's a pleasure, but I'm bloody stoked to be here. I'm excited to introduce to you an icon of our community. Someone whose unadulterated authenticity has really struck me over the last sort of few weeks, and who's going to share with you their spiritual journey. Put your hands together for Nadia Jan. I think we would like to start by doing a little exercise with you. Nadia, over to you.
So I invite all of us to get into our bodies. That's what I want. Out of the mind and into the body. We've had, I guess, a day full of being up in here, but the talk before this is just the perfect segue. Thank you for warming it up and bringing us back into our bodies, into the present, and reminding us of how simple everything is. Everything's very simple. So right now I ask you very simply to get up. Yeah, so cool. Just say you do. All right, got it. I can't do this with the mic and is there? I want you to take up space. Take up space. Spread your arms. Maybe you're touching someone. Make eye contact. Make sure it's okay. It's cool. You're allowed to take up space. Take up this space.
Spencer, you hit the camera, I'll kill you.
Notice how does it feel?
Great.
Thanks. How does it feel? Great. Let me hear you. How does it feel? Guess what? What? You are free. You are free. All right, let's shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Brush it off the shoulders. Brush it off. All that shame, all that judgment, all that. What is that? What is that here? I don't need that. What? I'm judging myself? No! Get it off! Get here right now with me. Thank you. Okay.
There we go. And breathe.
Alright, let's all take an inhale right now. Through the nose, deep, deep, deep. Hold it at the top. And release. One more inhale. Make it full, expand, hold it. And let it go with a sigh. There you go. Thank you for being with me. Thank you. Each and every single one of you, you're so special. Let's get it.
There we go. So, I'm here today to ask you some questions, and we've all been promised some very honest answers, which we're really excited about. But every journey has a start point, and I think we would like to start at the beginning. Nadia, how did your spiritual journey begin?
birth. What's crazy is that some of us feel like it's ended or that we have to try. It's such a cliche. I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe some of you have heard of this, but we aren't human beings having a spiritual experience. Yeah. We're spiritual beings having this human experience. Let that land. What does that mean? What does that mean?
So what is spirituality then, Nadia? What does that mean?
Freedom. My whole life, I've been blessed with a family that really embodies freedom. My dad has always been so unapologetically himself. Like he publicly embarrasses us almost on purpose. Like he does flips on the tube and he screams at the top of his lungs in the middle of the street. Yeah. And as a kid, I was like, what is he doing? And he'd get mad at me. There was even one time where he pulled my ear in public and said, you can't tell me what to do, I'm an adult. And so I live by that now. I'm like, no one can tell me what to do. But freedom. It's free from the bondage of our own biases, free from our own minds.
Is spirituality something that it's taken a while to kind of get to, or that was always there?
It was 2 years ago where I submitted my leave of absence to my school and decided that I'd just give myself the grace and the space to move to the jungles of Costa Rica. And for the first time in my life, just relax. How many of us get the chance to just relax? Just taking a full year, it was 2 years off. And in that time, that spaciousness of having no responsibility, of not having any well, I did have commitments, but it was a whole state of mind of reconnecting with nature, of leaving the busyness, the everyday hustle, where I got to experience what it meant to just be with myself, unaffected.
And what did you find in Costa Rica that was missing, in Toronto?
So that's the thing, is like you don't need to go anywhere to find yourself. It's not about finding yourself either. It's about remembering who you are. It's creating yourself, co-creating yourself. And that is going back to spirituality. Spirituality is honoring the God and the goddess that each one of you are. Each one of you is a co-creator of your reality. Co-creator, what does that mean? It means you're not in it alone. It means you've got your angels, you got your amashaspentas, however you like to refer to your guardian beings as. But who here has felt the presence of something protecting them once in their life? Woo! Who feels like they couldn't be here without their protectors? Mm-hmm. And this is just a conversation that I want to be having, because I'm tired of hiding my spirituality, and of all of us really hiding this part of ourselves, because it's woo-woo. You can't see it, so how can you believe it? But we feel it. We feel it. And spirituality, it's about feeling. It's about getting in touch with your sacred self.
And what would there'll be people sat here today who a lot of what you're saying resonates heavily with, and others who maybe are thinking a bit more skeptically. What would you say to everyone here about receiving this? How do we do that?
Open yourself up. Just open. Humility. Humility is huge. I don't know anything. What makes you think you know something? Sorry. But also you know everything. It's a cosmic joke. So play it, honey.
I was really struck by just what you said a second ago about how all the gods lie within us, and obviously I wanted to ask you. I mean, do you believe in God?
I feel like my whole life has been prepping for this moment. I grew up with the most atheist dad you could possibly think of. His entire bookshelf is filled with Richard Dawkins. Who knows Richard Dawkins? Yeah, he's like hardcore atheist. Like, no God. Religion is sin. Okay, so where does spirituality come in? And that's why I feel like a big part of my journey is going against these forces. My dad told me this doesn't exist, and my dad, I worship him. Oh my God, whatever he says is true. If there's no God, there's no God. So spirituality is about cultivating your own relationship with God, which is, I guess, why I'm here. I have something to say. But it's our truth, and it's so interesting how it ties into Zoroastrianism. I feel like I go through this path and that path, and I'm seeing how the tenets of Zoroastrianism they sum everything up so neatly and simply.
What would they be? I mean, what's the golden thread that connects spirituality and Zoroastrianism, or do they need to be connected?
Yeah. So Ahura Mazda, I found it really interesting to find the etymology of even the word Zoroastrianism. Because a lot of people refer to, originally it was Mazda-Yasnaism. Who's heard of Mazda-Yasnaism? Mazda-Yasnaism. So the word Mazda means wisdom, Yasna, love. Philosophy, philosophia. Philo means love. Sophia, wisdom. So I never considered Zoroastrianism even a religion. It's my spirituality. Ahura Mazda, that wisdom, that Lord of wisdom resides in me. It's nothing separate. It's never been separate. My power has never been outside of me. And so my whole journey has been about reclaiming, reviving, remembering that power within me that has been just trickled away throughout my life of trying to appease this and conform to this, and it's tiring. If you ever feel like you're low energy, reflect. Get curious. Don't just accept. Why? Activate that inner child in you. How would that 5-year-old version of you, would they accept this reality of yours? Maybe. They'd be really excited, and you want them to be excited. It feels good to be excited, but also grounded. Grounded in that excitement. And that's why I don't see any separation between Ahura Mazda, God, universe, spirit, source, your inner child, your higher divine self, all the same thing, guiding you towards your truth. And it sounds so hard. Like, what is your truth? Are you speaking it moment to moment? Are you expressing it in your body moment to moment?
I wanted to ask about truth, actually. I think when we talked over the last few weeks, we talked about the idea of, is truth singular or plural? And I'd like your, I don't know if you want to share your thoughts on that with the audience. How does...
Is God singular?
Yeah, I guess so.
One. That's what we're all about, right? One? Unity consciousness. We have our ego for a reason. Yes, we must have this ego. It protects us. It helps us see beauty outside of us. No other animal, no other species will turn their head to the sunset and appreciate it with the awe and wonder that us humans can. But that sense of separation also makes us forget. The opposite of spirituality, is just ego. Are we operating from ego or spirit? From truth or from an idea of an identity?
And for us now, where do you think most of us are? In that spectral line between ego and a sort of spiritual place of contentment?
I can only answer from how I feel in my body in this current moment, which is I sense there's this quote by Albert Einstein. Woohoo. More to listen now. Okay. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift.
And how do we restore that balance? What would you say to maybe, to me? I'd probably say I'm less intuitive than I'd like and more rational.
How do you think you're doing this conversation right now?
What would you say? How do I...
Right now.
This is it.
You're doing it right now. There's nothing to do. You're being intuitive right now. Whatever's coming to all of your minds right now as I'm speaking, that's your first gut instinct. You're always operating from it. But we ignore it. We try to make sense of it. Your first feeling is the right feeling. And that is the place of truth. That is the place of God. And as you do that consistently, bliss. Not a stressful day in your life. Because everything is in perfect peace, balance, harmony.
And I think one of the challenges for us, one of the challenges that we might find is starting that process. Everyone here joining us is, as you said, starting that. What else can they do?
Okay, so how many people here, raise your hand up, like to spend time with yourself? Beautiful. Oh my God. That's so beautiful. Oh, my heart. Oh. I just want you to love yourself. I want everything you do to be done with love. That's not what I want. That's yes, it is what I want. It's what I want. It's what I need. It's what you need. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Not in the superficial sense. Get real.
Get honest.
What?
Get honest.
Totally. The raw and dirty and ugly parts of you that you don't want to see. But they're there. And when you see them and give them love, you become holy, one with the Holy Spirit.
I mean, we're all pretty flawed people, but speaking with Nadia, you do start to think about the flaws inside you, and the ones that you can live with, and the ones that you want to improve on as well. I wanted to ask you, what has been the hardest part of this spiritual journey of yours? Has it been, I don't know, going out to Costa Rica and that huge sort of adventure? Has it been family? What's been the challenge of it?
The challenge is getting back into the world. We can get really comfortable in our solitude. It's a beautiful place. That's the journey inwards. And then there's the inevitable outwards. You can be a practicing Buddhist monk in the top of the Himalayas and achieve enlightenment and be in that total state of ecstasy. Oh. And then you come down from the mountain, and then you gotta be in relationship with humans, live in community, then see what triggers you. My family, my biggest trigger. Yeah. We're reflections of each other. Every time I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, oh, Nadia, what part of you doesn't want to do that? Everything. The hardest part is really, truly seeing everything as a reflection, not hiding. I can look into every single one of your eyes and see pure truth. With that presence that you're gifting me, that you're gifting yourself, that you're really gifting to the collective.
Tell me a little bit more about the collective, because one of the things that I think we spoke about before was this idea of a collective spiritual awakening, I think you'd call it. Tell me more about that.
Who feels the world is changing?
Yeah.
Who feels it's going up? Yeah. Who feels it's going down? Yeah.
And who's not sure?
Who's not sure? Who's just riding the waves? Yeah. The collective. Oof.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, because we've talked about this, and it sounds like something we've really got to feel inside us, and that reflection of ourselves. But how does that then relate to other people? Where's the collective in that?
It's in you. All of your answers to that question is a reflection of you. If you are the co-creator of your reality, if your perception is reality, then what you see out in the world is exactly what's going on inside of your world. So I'm going to choose to see a collective. I see things blooming because they're blooming within me.
Yeah.
Are things improving?
Pardon?
Are we improving? Are we getting better?
How do you feel?
Oh, you put me on the spot now. I think we've got more challenges. I think it's a tough world. And I'm slowly starting to feel that we need this maybe a bit more. What I do next, I don't know.
Your individual vibrational frequency is your single most important contribution to the collective. If you want to see world peace, if you want to see peace in this country, have we even started to look at the battles in ourselves? Do we? Yeah. Maybe we do. But maybe we do it a alone too sometimes. That was my struggle. I felt like I was all alone. And that's why it's such a big thing about raising your vibe. It's about being honest, real, vulnerable, intimate, compassionate, unconditionally loving.
I want to ask about, you mentioned it can feel lonely. I mean, can being a spiritual person be lonely?
Wow. That's spiritual ego. Spirit is never alone. To identify as even being spiritual is a form of ego, which is the opposite. It's like getting caught in its own trap.
I guess it goes back to, you said how important humility was. Okay, one question I wanted to ask you about is...
Can I answer that? Maybe?
I'll move on to my next question anyway. And I wanted to ask you about healing and sort of, I guess, either solving a problem or addressing a pain. What have been your experiences of healing?
Crying, screaming, having really hard conversations, looking at myself in the mirror, hearing myself up here speak out loud. You'd be surprised. Ooh, how harsh we can be.
And how did you fix that? How did you heal that? Did you?
We're all works in progress. It never ends. There's nowhere to go. There's no destination. There's no perfect version of you. You're just perfect right now. And watch yourself. Watch yourself be like, no, I can't be. No. Simple. Right now, you have everything you need. All of your needs are met in this moment. That's peace. What else more could you desire? Yeah.
Nadia, I've got about 111 more questions, but I feel very selfish keeping you all to myself. So I would like to see if anyone from our audience has anything that they might like to ask you as well.
Let's get it.
And I have a feeling there might be more than one. So I'll tell you what, go on, stick your hands right up in the air.
Hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up.
I'm going to pick first, then Nadia, you can pick next. Go on, gentleman at the back there. You're going to have to stand up. Get yourself a blue shirt. I'm going to need you to project your voice, but kick us off.
Hi, so firstly I just wanted to say it's really nice, listening to all of this, and for me you have such a beautiful soul, and I think it's very warm to see people like you having this podium, sharing your energy, your truth, and your life with us. So really, I'm going to applaud you. There's a box that I have.
Here we go.
And I completely respect you and everything, but I often wonder whenever I see, because of course I live in Germany now, but I'm also from India, I was born and raised there, and when I see young Zoroastrians like yourself speaking about going for 1 year to Costa Rica, talking about psychedelics, all of these things, for me, that comes from a place of luxury. comes from a place of privilege, comes from a place where you have the time, the money to afford to say, okay, I'm just going to take the year off, and kudos to you to do that, live your life, of course. But my question to you is, to the multiple Zoroastrians living in different parts of the world, where they do not have the luxury, the privilege, the money, to do things like this, to finding your truth. You know, I believe in that. I'm not being a cynic, I think it's amazing. How would you tell them to do that? How would you explain a normal boy from Bombay who has to take care of his parents, who has to pay for his studies on his own, who has to work day and night to support his grandparents? You can't tell him, go to Kerala for 1 year, take drugs, live your life. Because you know, as much as it's amazing, and wow, I mean, a certain part of me also envies you. I mean, in a good way.
Let's hear from...
But just 1 second, sorry. To me, that's also a certain sense of selfishness. And I'm not calling you selfish, please do not. How do you, or how would you describe that? Because taking time off for yourself, leaving everything behind, leaving the real world behind, real world, whatever we call it, you know, and letting our loved ones fend for ourselves. How would you balance that out? I'm very curious.
There we go. Nadia, over to you.
Thank you. Really, well. First, privilege. I have privilege. I have blessings, not of which I take for granted, but are the very reason I'm here. I'm not going to feel guilty for what I've been blessed with. I've gone too long. What's interesting to me is the way you see someone who's working and, what was the situation?
Like someone who has to take care of their parents or grandparents, you know, who does not...
So just that is under the assumption that they're not happy while doing so. That is not part of their service. That is not part of their expression of truth. Who are we to say, oh, this is unfortunate, this is unfortunate? Can I say a parable? A famous Tao parable about an old man farmer who lived in a barn, and one day, one of his horses just runs off. And the neighbor comes over to the man and says, "Oh my God, I heard about your horse leaving. That's awful. He was such a good source of everything." And the farmer replies with, "Perhaps." Then the next day, the horse comes back with 3 other horses. And the neighbor comes on over to the farmer and says, "Wow, you must be so happy, so lucky. You got 4 horses now." He's like, "Perhaps." Then the next week, his son rides one of the horses, and he falls off and breaks his leg. And the neighbor hears about it, and runs off to the farmer and says, "Oh my God, I heard the tragic news of your son. The accident. So sad." And the farmer replied with,
Perhaps.
Then the next week, the army commission, the people come for army conscription. They go to the farmer's house, and they see that the son has a broken leg, passes him by. The neighbor comes and says, "Wow, I heard the news. They were going to recruit your son, but then he couldn't. That's amazing." And the farmer replies with,
Perhaps.
I don't think we need to say any more. I think you've answered it.
Wait. Didn't I answer the question though?
yeah. There's so many layers to that question.
I think, hold on, sir. I think, gentleman in the blue shirt, sorry, I didn't get, remind me of your name? Frizan. It was a complex and there were lots of parts to that question.
Okay, you don't need to go to Costa, you don't need to go far away and do those luxuries. Find your safe space. Where's your safe space? Maybe it's in front of your altar, maybe it's the park near your house. Maybe it's somewhere where you just can ground and feel at peace. For me, it didn't need to be all the way in Costa Rica. But my best friend was there and I had the funds. And I work. I work actually.
I think what I took from that parable, that story, was that it's actually very hard to sort of to look at people in different situations and say, you know, are they happy or content and at peace? Because our own peace and happiness is framed within the context of our lives, whether that's, you know, the privilege that we have or the family that we have. And somebody who might be in a different situation with different family, different friends, different wealth, might have a completely different view of their contentment and their happiness. And what I took from that story, I guess, is that who are we to say that, you know, the boy in your example hasn't already found what he's looking for. But I think it was a great question, and I think we're going to have time for one more. Two more, yes. Let's go to Begnoush. Over to you.
Hi, Nadia. My question would be, as Zoroastrians, like, how can we create that safe space or be an ally for someone where people can come and open up to us? Like, I can be super close to someone as a friend, but still they won't share their struggles or something. So how do you create that safe space? Like, how do people open up to you? Like, what's that key? Like, how can you bring that about to bring a safer community?
Wow, what a beautiful question. Again, a simple answer. Presence. Listening, active listening. It's in presence where we feel safe, the safest.
And will that always work, or does that take time?
Well, whatever's holding you back from being present, that's why it's important to speak about what's alive, not go through the superficial, whatever, small talk. Get over it. Or use it. It's a great segue, it can warm you up. But then dance with the conversation, dance with the space. It's all energy. You're meeting one energy, another energy. In Farsi, we don't say, we say Dorud. Has anyone heard of the word Dorud? Yeah. Dorud. Dorud is the proper way of saluting, greeting someone in Farsi. Not Salam. Salam is the Arabic origin. But Dorud, and Do means two, and Rud means water. Two bodies of water converging. So just imagining all of us as these fluid bodies of water kind of dancing around each other. But our ego makes it seem like we're like, you know, separate and, yeah.
I think we'll have one more question. Go on. Have you got the same question? Gentleman in the white, what was? Oh, okay, Alex.
It's not much of a question, as much as a comment, you know, because I think it relates to your question, because I think every experience we have, everything we live, it doesn't matter if you're the girl who's spiritually enlightened from Costa Rica who's done ayahuasca, or if you're the boy in Mumbai who has to look after their grandparents. I think if we just perceive ourselves as content, if we perceive ourselves as happy with where we are, then that is all that really matters, and that is always possible no matter where we are. I think Abraham Lincoln puts it really well actually. People are about as happy as they make themselves out to be. And so I want everyone to go out of here today and just tell themselves, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm...
Say it, believe it.
Nadia, we haven't got too much on. I'm going to give you the chance to end with some, whatever words you choose. I'll give you a chance to think about that first. Feel into it, sorry. Yes. I'm going to take a sip of water, and you can go for it. All yours.
Give yourself permission to slow the fuck down.